How can I protect my portfolio?
How can you protect your portfolio? What do you reckon they mean? From being not rebated, taxes. Do you mean like, if you mean how can you protect your portfolio from being stolen from you by the banks, then the number one way to do that is to not gear too heavily. So what do I mean by gearing for people that don't watch too often or are new to property? So when you raise finance against a property, whether it is commercial or standard buy-to-let mortgage, okay, when you raise that mortgage, that is gearing, and then the value that you raise determines your gearing. So say you've got a 100 grand property and you can raise at maximum, 75% on the market at the moment. Okay, you can raise 75%, then your portfolio, if you've only got one house, okay, is 75%. Maybe we can get like numbers up here and it'll make it easier, right? 100 grand house, you raise 75 grand, that means you're geared at 75%. If you have a 100 grand house and you only raise 50%, so 50 grand, then you're geared at 50%. So one of the biggest things that you can do to protect your portfolio long term is to not gear too heavily. Prior to the last recession, anyone that remembers that, there were products on the market for buy-to-lets where you could raise 110% of the property value, simply because everyone thought the market was going to continue rising on forever, which was ludicrous because it never does. It always crashes. But they just thought, oh yeah, it'll carry on rising forever, and they were lending 110%. At which point, would you say that's negatively geared? Like, you're geared at more than it's worth. So not only will they come after your real estate if you don't have it in the right corporate structures, they'll also come after your other assets to pay off the debt that you owe if the market turns the wrong way, which it will, and then you'll be left with like the shirt on your back and the shoes on your feet, and that's it. That's where it can get to. If you mean how can you protect your portfolio prior to purchase, then the serious thing to do there is due diligence. Do you remember what was the definition for due diligence? The work that you do at the start to make sure you don't get bitten in the arse at the end. Yeah, so put some work in at the start. It's called stress testing your portfolio. Okay, run the figures as if interest were 8%, 9%, even though it isn't at the moment, because it could happen. And as long as your portfolio is still cash positive or neutral after all of that, and a raise in bills and fees and management, as long as it's all positive after all of that, then you are in probably a good place. The only thing is, if you're starting out and you feel a little bit if you're a bit of a risk taker and you want to grow quickly, you can gear heavily at the start, but always bear in mind you have to lower that gearing value later on. Okay, so you can raise lots and lots of finance to buy more and more properties, but then you need to pay a lot of that off so that you can lower your gearing level so that you're protected in case the market, which it will, in case the market swings the other way and you are left with a load of debt that you can't afford to pay back on your assets. So just be sensible and check the figures. Don't massage the figures, okay, to work for what you want them to. They tend not to lie.